Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to your class reading. This is our second meeting, and I'm so glad to have you all. Today we will start with our first chapter and our first class. We will cover some reading strategies and some vocabulary sections. These strategies are going to be like getting meaning from context, identifying the main idea, and how to use the scheme strategy to find out about the topic and to find the main idea. And finally, the last one for the reading strategy is going to be pronouns reference. How can we refer a pronoun to a noun? So we will actually work together to discuss and to know more about these strategies and do some exercises on it. And in the final section of this class, we'll be having something like the academic word list. We'll have a list of words. I want you to memorize them and to know how to use them in useful sentences. Okay, now let's move on. Getting meaning from context. In order to understand what you are reading from an English text, you need to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words. You know what the unfamiliar words means? It means words you do not know. Words you do not know. We call it unfamiliar words. So we want to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words without using the dictionary. Okay, so now you will learn how to guess the meaning of unfamiliar words or new words by looking around the words or the surrounding words in the same sentence or another sentences. So I will give you some clues and strategies, and I want you to practice, to do exercises. Okay, the last slide will cover all the homeworks that you have to do. You have to do it, that's to understand it. Okay? No one can master a thing without doing exercises or practicing. Okay, so here we have some of the ways that will help you to guess the meaning of new words. First of all is punctuation. You know the punctuations, like parentheses, like the hyphen, the dash, the comma, colon, and semicolon. Once you find these punctuations in a sentence, you need to look around, you need to look for the words around it. For example, if you look at this sentence, there is a drawback, sorry, okay, so there is a drawback. Say we have one comma, other comma, a disadvantage to that idea. Again, there is a drawback, a disadvantage to that idea. Now, drawback is an unfamiliar word for you. You don't know the meaning of a drawback. Okay? By looking at these punctuations, you will come to know that disadvantage is just exactly the same like a drawback. So drawback means a disadvantage. How come I know that disadvantage is the meaning of a drawback? Because of the punctuations. Okay? So this is one of the ways how to guess the meaning of unfamiliar word. If we look at the second example, this is another example. Just pay attention. Pay attention, please. If you read here, full color pictures are printed using only black and 3 colors: yellow, cayenne, a light blue, and Magenta, a light purple. Okay, so if you look at these underlined words, I guess these are unfamiliar even to me. So they are unfamiliar words. We don't know the meaning of these words since maybe they are not from English language. Maybe they were borrowed from another language, okay? So these are unfamiliar words, cayenne and magenta. Do we have any sign to know the meaning of cayenne and magenta? Is there a possibility to know the meaning of these two words without using the dictionary? I guess yes, we have one possibility. If you look at the sentence again, you will find another two words in between parentheses. This is what they call parentheses. So, a light blue is the meaning of cayenne. It's an explanation to cayenne. And a light purple is the meaning of magenta. It is the meaning of magenta. How come I know these words or the meaning of these words? Again, punctuation. The punctuation is a sign to know the meaning of unfamiliar words. Let's move on now. There's also another way to know the meaning of unfamiliar word. You might be noticing a clue in another sentence. You need to look at the surrounding words. If you cannot find any punctuation, for example, in a sentence, or keywords, as stated in the previous sentence, you can guess the meaning of these unfamiliar words by looking at the surrounding words, كلمات المحاطة, the surrounding words. These surrounding words may help you to understand the new word. For example, let us look at this example. This is an example. Okay? Look at this example. Let me read it. A school system in one country is not identical to the system in any other country. It cannot be exactly the same because each culture is different. Now, in the second sentence, you see the meaning of identical, the word identical. So the meaning of identical is exactly the same. How did I know? How do I know the meaning of unfamiliar words without having a punctuation then? I need to look at the surrounding words. So I looked first at the surrounding words and then I found exactly the same, just like identical. Okay? So here, identical was preceded, سبقت, by verb to be. And the same here was preceded by verb to be. Okay, so this is the second way to know the meaning of unfamiliar word. Let us move on. Logic. المنطق. You can guess the meaning of a new word by logic. How? Let us read this example. Okay. The educational system is a mirror that reflects the culture. Well, now you may ask yourself, okay, what does reflects mean? The word reflects, what does it mean? Well, you probably know the word mirror, right? مرآة. Mirror, مرآة. Okay? You probably know the meaning of mirror. So you can guess that reflects means show. So I've used logic to guess the meaning of this unfamiliar word. So this is the third way to get a meaning from the context without using the dictionary. Let's move on. Well, this is another exercise. Let's guess the meaning now. Read it. In a number of countries, education is both compulsory, dash, required, dash, and universal, comma, available to everyone, comma, at least in a primary school, parenthesis, elementary school. Now, if you look at the colored words with the blue, like compulsory, I ask you now, what is the meaning of this unfamiliar word? I'm sure that you will say, well, we have a punctuation. It dashes. The word between these two dashes is the meaning of compulsory. So, compulsory means required. If you look at the second one, universal, I will ask you the same question. What does it mean? You will say we have a comma, two commas, available to everyone, means universal. If I ask you about the third colored phrase, primary school, you will tell me that we have a parenthesis. Excuse me, right here. So we have two parentheses. So primary school means elementary school. So this is an example for our first rule, how to know the meaning, to guess the meaning of an unfamiliar word without using the dictionary. That's by punctuations, like comma, semicolon, colon, parentheses, and dashes. Let's move on. Well, I will leave this one for you. I want you to guess the meaning of egalitarian. Use the rules. Always follow the rules. Well, we have finished now with one of the strategies, reading strategies, that is how to guess the meaning, to get a meaning of unfamiliar word from the context itself. Now we're moving to another part of another strategies, that is the main idea. In any passage in the Word, if someone asks you a question, it's going to be, the first question, what is the main idea of this paragraph? What is the main idea of this passage? What is the main idea of this essay? So, since it is an important question and repeated, we need to know how to identify the main question, the main idea, how to know it, how to locate it, how to find it in one passage. Okay, so we have some steps over here, how to identify the question. Well, the question about the main idea might be used in different ways. You may have different forms of questions, like the first question, what is the topic of the passage? What is the main idea of the passage? What is the author's main point in the passage? With what is the author primarily concerned? Which of the following would be the best title for the passage? Well, again, this is for the title. Here is it for the topic, and here's the subject. All of these are related. So when you ask about the topic, subject, and best title, this is an umbrella for the whole passage. Okay? Where to find the answer? How can I find where to find the answer for these questions? The answer to this type of a question can generally be determined by looking at the first sentence of each paragraph. So if you have a passage of one paragraph, just one paragraph, فقرة واحدة, you need to look at the first line of this paragraph to guess the main idea of the whole passage. But if you have a passage consists of 3 paragraphs, you need to read, you need to look, you need to scan the first, you need to study, the first line of each paragraph. So, You need to read the first line of each paragraph, look for a common theme or idea in the first lines, then you have to pass your eyes quickly over the rest of the passage to check that you have really found the topic sentences. Sometimes you are unsure about the main idea. So if you are unsure about the main idea, read the first line of each paragraph. Okay? Well, in the exam, you'll be having like a question and 4 choices. So if you are unsure about one choice, eliminate it, delete it, and leave the right answer. We will discuss later on the how to do well in your exam. Well, here's an example. Here's a paragraph to consider. Look just for the main idea of this paragraph. If you read, the life of a doctor is not easy. What is the main idea of this paragraph? Well, if you just read the rest of this paragraph, you will find details. You will find details about how the doctor lives is not easy. So these are all supporting sentences, supporting ideas to what? To this idea. So from here to here is a supporting idea about the main idea. So as you can see in this paragraph, I found the main idea at the beginning, in the first line of the paragraph. And the rest of the paragraph is a supporting idea about the main idea. So if you say that the doctor life is not easy, then I guess you are correct. Here is another example. The seniors in this office cannot always come to work on the same schedule each week. Sometimes they have to talk to each other and work out differences in the schedule. They usually can do this without any trouble. Ben, Victoria, Alex work together very well. What is the main idea of the paragraph? If you said that they can work, that Ben, Victoria, and Alex can work together well, then you are correct. Okay? So you can hear always come to work on the same schedule. And the conclusion was the same like the main idea. Ben, Victoria, Alex work together very well. Okay? Skimming for the topic, main idea. For the topic and the main idea. For the topic and, okay, and main idea. Skimming is also a good strategy to find something about the topic, what this passage about. This is topic means. Topic means what this passage about. The main idea means the author's point of view in this topic. Again, the topic means what the paragraph, the essay, the passage is about. So, you can say it's about smoking. You can say it's about education. The paragraph might be about computers or technology or e-learning education. So, as you can see, topic, when I say what is the topic of this passage, you give me an answer with one word or 2 words or a few words. So it's not a sentence. So in the exam, if I ask you what is the topic of this paragraph, you need to give me 1 or 2 or 3 words. I'm not asking you a sentence. Okay? The main idea is a sentence or 2 or 3 sentences. They can be found at the beginning, in the middle, on paragraph. But usually, you find it at the beginning of each paragraph. Usually, عادة, يعني 80 ل 85%, you find the main idea at the beginning of each paragraph. So each paragraph, if you have a passage of 3 paragraphs, then you need to know that you have 3 main ideas, because each passage, each paragraph, sorry, has a main idea. Okay? So you can use the skimming just to identify the topic and the main idea. To skim means to read the title, to read the headings and subheadings of a paragraph, to look at diagrams or photos, to read the beginning and the end of the paragraph, and to read it quickly. You don't have to read every single word. Skimming means to read it quickly. This is basically what skimming means. To read it quickly through the lines, to have an overall, an overview, to have a short summary of what's going on in this paragraph, of what this paragraph is about, of what the author's main idea is aiming. So what is the author's point of view? So this is skimming, to read it quickly through the lines. Okay. So again, if you want to use skimming to find the main idea, you need first to read the first and the last paragraph of the whole selection, of the passage, the selection. Because main ideas are generally generalizations, تعميمات. وأي تعميم أو تنظير, the author may begin with it. دائما إذا بدي أعطي تعميم أو فرضية أو نظرية أنا أبدأ فيها، فهي تكون دائما في البداية, at the beginning, in the first line. And the same authors do. This is what the authors do. They always generalize at the beginning. Okay, then you have to read the first and the last line of each paragraph. That is to make sure about the main idea. Sometimes some of you, they may guess the main idea, not guessing actually, they know the main idea from the first line, because they can see that the author's point of view is here. So they don't have, if you know the main idea from the first paragraph, you don't have to read the rest of the whole passage, because you will waste your time. Okay, let us take this example. This is an example. مثال. In this example, we need to find something about the topic of the paragraph and the main idea of the paragraph. Again, where can I find the main idea and the topic of the paragraph? We can find it here in sentence 1 and 2. Here's the topic of the paragraph. So the topic of the paragraph is about what? Is it about sailing and surfing? We don't have anything mentioned here about surfing and sailing, so it's wrong. Is it about seasons at the beach? Well, we don't know. Is it about summertime? We don't know. Is it about ways to develop optimism? No, it's not mentioned. But here, in B, it is talking about the summertime, one of the season. And in C, it's also talking about seasons. So we are unsure now. مش متأكدين وين الإجابة. Okay? So we can read we can read the rest now. Look at the beginning of this sentence. It starts with summertime. Okay? And somewhere else here it's mentioned also the summertime. So it is mainly about the summertime. Why? Because it's repeated, مكررة. دائما إذا بدنا نعرف شو هو التوبيك we should actually we should actually pay attention if sometimes an idea is repeated. So summertime is repeated over here, and it's also repeated over here. See, without reading, I just get the meaning without reading. So this is the topic of the sentence, the topic of the paragraph, the topic of the passage. It is about the summertime. Okay, what is the main idea of the paragraph? Well, we should read the first lines, the first one or two lines. Do you have a favorite season? Winter, fall, and spring have many advantages. However, summer is my favorite season because it offers the tranquility of the beach as well as the exhalation of outward sports. So this is the main idea. Why? Because here is the author is talking about his favorite season. So once you find the author's point of view, here is the main idea. So the author's point of view is that summer time is his favorite season. Why? Because it offers tranquility of the beach as well as the exhalation of outdoor sports. So in this case, the main idea and the topic were located in the first and the second line. So the main idea of the paragraph is sentence 1, sentence 2. In sentence 1, it is the topic of the passage. Again, we were unsure about the topic of the sentence, topic of the passage. I told you to read the rest to find if there is repeated ideas. So we have one repeated idea, one repeated idea. None of these lines, ولا واحد من هذه الجمل, is talking about winter or fall or spring. It's only talking about the summertime. Okay, let's move on. So now we have done with two strategies. The first strategy was about how to get the meaning from the context without using the dictionary. The second strategy was skimming, identifying the main idea, skimming for the topic and the main idea. Okay? The third one today, actually the fourth, because skimming is, you can consider it independent strategies. Anyway, the fourth one is understanding pronoun reference. And also this is a very popular question. In your final test in the reading section or reading comprehension, they ask you, this pronoun refers to what? Okay, so we want to learn this strategy to know how pronouns refers to nouns. Well, because a pronoun refers to a noun or takes the place of a noun, of that noun, you have to use the correct pronoun so that your reader clearly understands which noun your pronoun is referring to. So, therefore, pronoun should agree in number. You have to make sure that a pronoun in one sentence agrees in a number. When I say a number, if the pronoun takes the place of a singular noun, you have to use a singular pronoun. For example, look at this sentence here. If a student parks car on campus, he or she has to buy a parking sticker. Again, I ask you now, do we have pronouns? Yes, we have he and she. He is a singular pronoun. She is a singular pronoun. Now, in this case, usually when someone asks you about pronoun reference, you need to go back to look at this sentence. You need to look at a singular noun. How many nouns in this sentence? We have campus, we have a car, and we have a student, right? But you know very well, he and she is used for human beings. For he for masculine, ذكر, and she for feminine, أنثى. Campus is not a human being. Car is not a human being. While a student is a human being. والطالب ممكن يكون he أو she. So, if a student parks a car on campus, they have to buy a parking. So we have to say that he and she here is referring to students. But you cannot say if a student parks on a car campus, they have to buy a parking sticker. Why? Because they is used for a plural. They is used for a plural. جمع. And a student is singular. فهون ما في توافق in numbers. There is no agreement in numbers. هون جمع plural وهون singular وهون singular. فلذلك هذه جملة مغلوطة بتكون. لازم يكون ال pronoun agrees in number with the noun. هاي نقطة واضحة. Let's go on. Okay, here is also a kind of a hint. You need to remember that everyone, anyone, anybody, no one, all of these, or each, or neither, or either, should be used as a singular pronoun. هذه نعتبرها singular pronoun. Okay? For example, look at the sentence. Everybody ought to do his or her best. شو حكينا his وher. لمين ترجع هذه؟ لnobody. ما بصير أحكي their because there is used for plural pronoun. Everybody is considered singular, is not plural. Neither of the girls brought her umbrella. Her. Neither. مش there. Again. Anybody, anyone, each, either, neither, nobody, someone, a person, all of these must be considered as a singular noun. The second rule is agree in person. If you're writing the first person I, do not confuse your reader by switching to the second person you, or third person he or she, they, it, etc. Similarly, if you are using the second person, do not switch to the first or the third. See this example. When a person comes to class, he or she should have his or her homework ready. لاحظوا الآن. How many pronouns? He, she. لمين بيرجعوا؟ the person. The same here. He, his and her. لمين بيرجعوا؟ the person. لكن ما قلنا their أو your. هذه غلط. ما بصير you. So this is what I mean by agree in person. So here's kind of an exercise. Choosing the correct pronoun. I want everyone of you to sit in his desk and do exactly what we have learned today about pronoun reference. Just follow the rules. I always like this statement. Follow the rules. Okay? To get a high score, just follow the rules. Circle the pronoun that agrees a number with its antecedents in each sentence. Antecedent يعني مع سوابقها من nouns. أكيد لازم تكون nouns. Okay, so do it. Don't be lazy. So here's a kind of a summary or outline or a chart explaining how to guess the pronoun reference. You can read it. Where to find the answer? The line where the pronoun is located is given in the question. The noun that the pronoun refers to is generally found before the pronoun. وحكينا إنه noun ممكن لازم يكون أو مش لازم, لكن generally speaking is found in the sentence before the pronoun, where it's located. So you need first to locate it, look before it, then try each noun مثل ما أنا عملت. كان في 3 nouns: a student, car, campus. ولا واحدة زبطت من campus ولا car because they are non-human beings. هذول مش بشريات، بينما student بشرية. فعملت elimination للcar، عملت elimination للcampus، واخترت student. Well, finally, we have the vocabulary recognizing word meanings. Here is kind of academic list, academic word list, and they are very important. Why they are very important? Because you find it in any textbook. They are repeated. They are very common. They are commonly used. So I ask you now to memorize them. In the exam or the final test, I will test your knowledge about these academic word list. I will test you, okay? So just from now on, try to memorize them and use them in sentences. So some of them I guess you are familiar with. Some of you, I guess, know the meaning of these nouns or verbs or adjectives. Some of them are verbs, some of them are adjectives, some of them are nouns. Okay, let's start with determine. So, well, we have determine, effort, reflect, non-traditional, drawback, statistic, discipline, aspect, involves, tuition, entire, creative. So it's numbered from 1 till 12. And the other here, the other column is actually lettered from A till I. We have unusual, disadvantage, side path or characteristic. D, developing new ideas. E, fact in the form of a number. F, control. G, whole. H, decide on. I, have enough money for. J, show. K, fees, money for school. Fees, which means money for school. You pay money for school, I know. I, includes. So, there's no match. Is matching enough way to learn? No. I want you to use these, actually, these, okay, yeah, chart A. I want you to memorize them and to know the meaning of chart A's words. Determine means to decide on. Okay, it's right here. I was looking for it. So it's H, to decide on. You need to decide on your final decision. Afford. Sometimes your students or your friends or your colleagues, you may ask you, would you like to go to the cinema, for example? You say, no, I can't afford it. No, I can't afford it means I don't have enough money or fees for it. So it's K. Yeah, it's K. Number 3, to reflect. Again, actually, I've mentioned this word in one of the sentences. Do you remember the mirror and reflects? So what does reflect mean? I will leave it for you. Oh, by the way, just don't leave it. It's show. I know you know it now. So it is show. Number 4, non-traditional. Non-traditional means unusual. 5, drawback. Again, I have mentioned this before in one of the sentences. Drawback means disadvantage. Statistic. Statistic means fact in the form of numbers. Discipline. Discipline means an aspect and involves intuitions and entire and creative. Okay, for the intuition, actually here, for the effort, it means have enough. Oh, it's I, it's not K. It's having enough money. Okay? For tuition, it means K. Entire means G. Creative means D. And so on. You can do it by yourself. The rest of these things. I have sold around 10 to 9, 10, right? You can do it by yourself. But just pay attention to effort and tuition. Here, effort means I have enough money for that, and tuition means fees. يعني رسوم جامعية. You can do it by yourself. Now do the following homework. This is the last slide for today. I want you to do all of these homeworks because they cover all these strategies and all the vocabularies we have covered in this class. Thank you so much. I will see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.